The year is 3237. Earth is quiet, too quiet. Long ago, humans stood tall among the stars. They had fleets, weapons, and power. But after the War of 11 Suns, everything changed. The Galactic Council ruled that humans were too dangerous, too unpredictable. So they passed a law. Humans are not allowed to build warships. Not one. Not ever again. Since then, Earth has obeyed. No warships, no space fleets, just trade ships, farming satellites and peace talks. But peace is a lie. The Council let other species arm themselves. Quietly, slowly, carefully. They built weapons in secret. But humans, they were watched. Every move, every signal, every engine scan. Watched like children too reckless to be trusted. Captain Elias Rayner knew this all too well. Once he was a proud commander in Earth's Defense Force. Brave, respected, and sharp. He had a future. But Elias spoke the truth. He told the Council their peace was fake, that the ban would only make Earth weak, helpless. For that he was stripped of command, labeled a risk, forced into exile. Now he walks alone on the dead world of Vega 9, a rogue planet drifting beyond Council eyes. Its skies are always gray, winds howling, no cities, no sunlight, just rock, ice, and shadows. Beneath its frozen surface is a secret, a hangar the size of a mountain. And inside that hangar is the Forbidden, a human warship being built in silence. Its name is Defiance. Its frame is sharp, wide, and long. Engines cold, weapons hidden, unfinished yet powerful. Its skin is steel gray, patched in places where parts are still being welded. Sparks fly from all corners of the bay. Engineers work in silence. Each knows what's at stake. Elias stands at the edge of the catwalk, looking down at the ship. His hands are rough, his uniform old, but his eyes are sharp. He doesn't smile. Not here. Not yet. This ship, he says quietly, is our voice, our right, our warning. Beside him stands Mira Chen, a former ship systems officer from Mars. She was one of the first to join him in exile. They'll come for us, she says. The moment they find out, they will, Elias replies. But by then we'll be ready. All around them, workers move quickly. Welders seal hull panels. Techs install AI cores. Fuel pipes snake through the deck like veins. The ship is alive, almost. From above, drones hover, scanning every bolt. The project is massive, dangerous, but necessary. Elias walks to the central console. He places his palm on the scanner. Lights flicker. The ship's systems hum softly. Startup auxiliary power, he says. We run a dry systems test at dawn. Yes, Captain, Mira nods. They both know the risk. If the Council discovers them now, before the ship can fly, everything ends. The hangar, the crew, Earth. No warnings, no mercy. But Elias also knows something else. The ban was never about peace. It was about control. And if humans were ever going to survive in this galaxy, they would need something more than hope. They would need strength, real strength. And that strength begins here, with Defiance. Vega 9 was a dead world. No cities, no life, just a cold, drifting planet hiding in the shadows of forgotten star systems. But beneath its icy surface, something was being built that would shake the entire galaxy. Inside the underground base, giant machines roared. Robotic arms welded glowing metal plates. Sparks fell like rain. Voices echoed through the steel tunnels as workers pushed through long shifts with tired eyes and heavy hands. At the center of it all stood the Defiance. The warship was like no other. It stretched the length of 10 city blocks. Its armor was thick, designed to withstand direct hits from plasma cannons. Its engines were powerful enough to outrun most Council ships. But it was not finished. Large sections of the hull were still exposed. Wires and fuel lines hung like vines. The main weapon systems hadn't been tested. Captain Elias Rayner walked the lower deck, inspecting progress. His eyes moved across the glowing screens and shifting cranes, checking every bolt and panel. He paused beside a large engine unit being installed. Status, he asked. A tall engineer named Corbin, A gruff old mechanic from the moon colonies wiped oil from his face. Reactor cores in. Still unstable. We need 2 more days to seal the drive coils. Elias nodded. You get one. Work in shifts. We test the core tomorrow. Corbin didn't argue. Everyone here knew the clock was ticking. In the control room above, Mira Chen monitored incoming signals. A large screen flickered with data from the outer systems. So far, no signs of council ships, no alerts, no warnings, but they couldn't stay hidden forever. Later that night, Elias sat in his quarters. A small room with a metal desk, 2 chairs, and a screen showing old photos of Earth. One showed a younger version of him standing with his family in a green field under a bright blue sky. That world felt far away now. A soft knock. Mira stepped in. The whole team finished the outer frame. We're ahead of schedule. Elias leaned back. Good. We'll need every hour. She hesitated, then said, what if we don't finish in time? What if the council finds us? Elias looked at her. His voice was calm, steady. Then we fight with what we have. But we finish this ship. One way or another. Across the base, the crew pushed on. Some were former soldiers. Others were engineers, scientists, pilots, men and women, who believed Earth deserved a chance to stand again. Each bolt tightened, each wire linked, was a silent act of rebellion. They called this place the Silent Forge, not because it was quiet, but because they couldn't speak of it outside these walls. Not to family, not to anyone. This forge was Earth's secret, their last hope. And even though fear crept in, no one backed down. Not Elias, not Mira, not the dozens of workers sacrificing sleep and safety to bring the defiance to life. Because in every spark, in every welded seam, lived a single truth. Humans would not be silenced forever. The engine room buzzed with tension. Sparks flew from the ceiling as technicians sealed the primary reactor chamber. Crew members moved fast. Voices clipped and urgent. Every hour counted now. They were building a warship under the nose of the most powerful force in the galaxy, and it wouldn't stay a secret much longer. Captain Elias Rayner stood in the control room, eyes locked on the large screen showing the ship's progress. Defiance was almost complete. Just a few more systems to activate. Just a few more days. Then it happened. An alarm shrieked. The lights flickered red. A robotic voice echoed through the speakers. Intrusion detected. Sector 4. Unidentified signal breach. Mira Chen spun in her chair. Something's here. A ship, small, fast. Stealth class. Elias didn't hesitate. Seal the exits. Lock down the forge. Within minutes, security bots scrambled down narrow tunnels. Armed patrols swept the hallways. The enemy had made it inside. A council spy. It didn't take long to find him. The intruder was hiding behind crates in the cargo bay, trying to send a message back to the council. But the jammer field kicked in before the signal could leave Vega 9. The spy was cornered, tackled, and dragged into the interrogation room. Elias walked in, silent and steady. The spy sat, tied to a chair, young, nervous, clearly not expecting to get caught. What's your name? Elias asked. No answer. You were trying to signal the council. That means they don't know yet. Which means you still have a chance to walk away. Tell me the truth. The spy stayed quiet. His eyes flicked toward the camera in the ceiling. Elias turned it off. Then the spy spoke. My name is Jalen, recon specialist. I was sent to confirm the energy readings. Did the council receive your message? Jalen shook his head. No, but they don't need it. They're already planning a preemptive strike. Earth is on the list. Mira, watching from behind the glass, stiffened. Elias stepped forward. What list? Jalen's voice cracked. The council believes humans are building weapons again. They don't care about proof. They've made their decision. Earth will be hit within the month. Total destruction. They'll make it look like an accident. Silence filled the room. Elias turned away, fists clenched. They were almost out of time. He looked at Mira. Accelerate the build. We fly before they strike. She nodded and ran out. Back in the main hangar, Elias gathered the crew. We've been discovered, he said, his voice steady but loud. A spy made it inside, and now the council will come for us. And for Earth. Murmurs broke out. Fear crept into the air. Stood. We don't have time for fear. Elias continued. We finish this ship in 5 days. No sleep rotations, no delays. We test the engines, arm the cannons, and prepare to fly. One mechanic raised his hand. But it's not ready. It has to be. Elias cut in. If we wait, we die. If we rush, we might still have a chance. Stood. The room went quiet. Then Mira spoke from the balcony. Let's give Earth something to believe in. The crew cheered. Not loud, but with force. The kind of cheer that said, we're with you. No turning back. That night, work doubled. Fuel cells were primed. Weapons tested. The main reactor glowed brighter than ever. And deep beneath the planet, in a cold metal room, the spy sat in silence, watching. Waiting. He had seen many ships before, but nothing like this. He knew one thing for sure. If the Defiance launched, nothing would ever be the same again. The forge didn't sleep. For 5 days straight it thundered with life. Crew members moved like machines, welding, coating, fueling, calibrating. The Defiance, once a silent shell, now pulsed with raw power. The engines were alive. The targeting systems were online. The ship's AI had been activated and named Argus, a calm, steady voice that spoke with precision. In the command deck, Captain Elias Rayner stood at the front window staring at his creation. Lights glowed along the hull. The final plates had been locked in. Every major system had been tested, except one, the flight. Beside him, Mira Chen was checking over diagnostics. Her hands were shaking slightly. She noticed Elias staring. You sure we're ready? She asked. No, he said, but we're out of time. Across the galaxy, the council was already preparing their fleet. Jalen, the captured spy, had confirmed it. Earth would be wiped out in a single strike. No warnings, no diplomacy. Only defiance stood between survival and extinction. Bring the ship online, Elias ordered. A deep hum filled the forge as power surged through every deck. The engines vibrated. Screens lit up. Argus spoke. All systems green. Awaiting flight command. The massive hangar doors began to open slowly, revealing the dark void of space above the planet. Crew to battle stations, Mira announced. All hands prepare for launch. In the engine room, Corbin barked orders, double-checking fuel lines and magnetic coils. On the bridge, officers fastened in, eyes sharp. Everyone knew, if this flight failed, the ship could explode. Elias took a deep breath and gave the command. Argus, launch sequence. Take us into orbit. Confirmed, launching in 3, 2, 1. The Defiance lifted from the forge floor, hovering for a moment before rising faster, climbing through the icy tunnel that led to the surface. Dust and snow whipped around the hull. The moment the ship cleared the surface, it blasted into space. Engines burned hot. The ship climbed higher, faster. Then, the alert. Multiple ships detected. Incoming fire. 3 Council stealth cruisers had followed Jalen's trail. They were waiting. Shields up. Elias shouted. Mira, plot evasive maneuvers. Corbin, full power to engines. Bright blue beams shot toward the Defiance. One clipped the rear hull, shaking the ship. Minor damage, Argus reported. Return fire, Elias said. The main cannons lit up, releasing a piercing energy blast. One enemy ship spun out and exploded. The crew held tight as the Defiance danced between attacks. It moved fast, faster than the Council expected. The second cruiser fired a torpedo. Mira countered with flares. Corbin rerouted power to stabilizers. Target locked, Argus said. Fire, Elias ordered. The second enemy ship was destroyed in a clean blast. The third turned to flee. "Do we pursue?" Mira asked. Elias stared at the shrinking dot on the screen. Then he shook his head. "No, let them run. Let them tell the council what they saw." The ship grew quiet again. Smoke cleared. Damage was minimal. The Defiance had passed its first test. It had survived its first fight. Elias stood slowly. He looked at his crew, tired, bruised but smiling. "We just changed everything," he said. For the first time in 300 years, a human warship had flown. It had fought, and it had won. They were no longer silent. They were no longer helpless. The Defiance hovered silently in orbit above Vega 9. Inside the bridge, the crew worked with quiet focus. The mood had shifted. They were no longer just builders. They were warriors, survivors. Captain Elias Rayner stood at the center of the bridge, staring at the stars ahead. The council now knew. The spy had confirmed it. The battle proved it. And the one fleeing enemy ship would spread the truth even faster. Mira Chen stepped beside him, holding a datapad. "We've decoded part of the council's fleet orders," she said. "They're gathering ships near Earth. It's happening." Elias nodded. "Then it's time we speak for ourselves." The plan was dangerous, maybe even suicide. But waiting would only lead to Earth's destruction. Elias turned to the crew. "Prepare for hypershift. Set coordinates for Ardor Prime." Gasps filled the room. Ardor Prime was the heart of the Galactic Council, where warships were not allowed to fly, especially not human ones. "That's a council-guarded system," Corbin said. "They'll shoot us down before we even get close. Then we make them listen before they pull the trigger," Elias replied. "We show them what they've done, what they've become, and we tell the galaxy the truth." The Defiance jumped into hyperspace. In seconds they reached the outer edge of Ardor Prime. Council ships swarmed the space lanes. The world below glowed like a jewel, shining with towers and silver domes. Instantly, Defiance was hailed. "Unidentified vessel. Power down or be destroyed." Elias opened the channel. "This is Captain Elias Rayner of the human warship Defiance. I request a hearing before the council. I come in peace, but I will not be silenced." There was a long pause. "Then proceed. But any hostile action will be met with force." Inside the council chamber, members from over 50 alien species sat in rows. Their robes shimmered. Their expressions were cold. At the center sat High Chancellor Varel Tharn, eyes sharp, face like stone. Elias appeared before them via live holo feed. Behind him stood Mira and Corbin. They were tired, bruised, but proud. "You were warned," Varel began. "You violated the ban. You've built a warship. You attacked council ships." "I defended my people," Elias said calmly. "We didn't fire first. Your ships followed us. They tried to destroy us before we spoke a single word." Varel leaned forward. "Humans are dangerous. You always have been. That's why we passed the law." "That law was never about safety," Elias replied. "It was about control. You banned our strength and called it peace." He activated a data feed. Holograms appeared above the chamber. Footage from the battle near Vega 9. Internal council orders for Earth's strike. The confession of the spy. The room erupted in noise. Some council members shouted in protest. Others whispered to their aides. "You covered it up," Elias continued. "You wanted Earth helpless. You wanted us afraid." He took a breath. "But we are not afraid anymore. The Defiance is not a weapon of war. It's a shield. We don't seek domination. We seek survival, equality, the right to exist with strength, not fear." The chamber went quiet. Even Varel was silent. Then a counselor from the Sarathi system stood. "I vote to lift the human ban." One by one voices rose, some for, some against. After a tense debate, a decision was reached. The vote was passed. The ban was lifted. Earth could defend itself again. Not with fear, but with purpose. Elias didn't cheer. He didn't smile. He only whispered, "They heard us." The stars above Earth had never looked so peaceful. The Defiance floated in low orbit, silent and strong, its hull marked by battle but intact. Below, the blue planet spun slowly, untouched, safe, for now. Inside the command deck, Captain Elias Rayner stood alone, looking down at the world he fought to protect. The Council had lifted the ban. Earth was no longer forbidden from building warships. The vote had passed. History had changed. But the war wasn't over. Not really. The Council had accepted the truth, but not all of them agreed. Many still saw humans as a threat. Whispers of rebellion had already begun to spread through the stars. Still, Elias had won something powerful. Time. Behind him, the door opened. Mira Chen walked in, holding a data tablet. Council just confirmed, she said. The vote stands. Earth can now build a fleet under one condition. Elias turned. Let me guess. They want full oversight. She nodded. Every ship must be registered. Every test monitored. They'll be watching closely. Elias smirked. Let them watch. At least now we're allowed to stand. Corbin's voice echoed over the comm from engineering. Engines are stable. Shields at full strength. Ships ready for whatever comes next. Elias tapped the glass of the viewing window. And there will be a next. He knew the galaxy. Peace didn't last forever. But now Earth had something it hadn't had in centuries. A choice. The crew gathered in the central hall. Mechanics, pilots, engineers, all standing in front of the giant flag stitched to the wall. Earth's old emblem, surrounded by the symbol of the Defiance. Elias stepped forward. We didn't build this ship to start wars, he said. We built it because we were silenced, forgotten, controlled. He paused, letting the weight of his words settle. Now we speak with strength. Now we stand as equals. The galaxy will remember this ship, not as a threat, but as a warning. We will not be erased, ever again. Cheers filled the hall, quiet at first, then louder. No one shouted in rage. No one cried in fear. This was pride, unity. From the bridge, Mira looked out into space. The stars stretched endlessly, beautiful and cold. Where to next? She asked. Elias stood beside her. Wherever we're needed, he said. We're not just defending Earth anymore. We're protecting the idea that no world, no species should ever be silenced. The Defiance turned slowly, engines warming, its nose pointed into the unknown. Across the stars, stories would spread about the humans who defied a law, built a ship and won against all odds. About the captain who spoke not with weapons but with truth. And every time the Defiance appeared in the sky, it would carry one message. Humanity is back.